So Alito's story about his upside down flag, and I've seen the upside down flag before. It is a sign of distress. I had a couple of friends who were vets in during the Bush years who would have an upside down flag sticker on their front door or sometimes on their car. And I guess Alito's, he said that his wife had put it up.
Oh, the old blame my wife defense. They're going with that in the Menendez trial, too.
Yeah, you know, these wives, they wives
be bitches.
Well, I mean, I'm not necessarily convinced that it wasn't his wife's idea to put that flag up necessarily, but I also don't know that that in any way is exculpatory. Like, you know, you could say, sweetheart, I'm a judge. I'm a big, important judge. But put that aside for a moment. The story that he has released about that appears to have been a lie. So even if you accept that it was his wife's doing, originally we were told that the reason why it was up there, and I'm trying to find his story, here it is. The reason why we were told originally it was up there is because his wife was having an argument with some neighbors. And the neighbors were real jerks. They were putting up a anti-Trump sign, and when she would walk by, they would say stuff like, "You're a jerk, lady." And so she put up this flag that was distressed. And it turns out, and this is sort of amazing, his wife's name is Martha Ann Alito. And again, he said it was her response to, quote, objectionable and personally insulting anti-Trump sign put up by a neighbor. Well, the New York Times, which originally broke the story, well, the Washington Post apparently had broken the story. It just didn't report the story for 3 years.
Did they know why? Did they ever say why? Or do we know why?
Yeah, you know. Because
democracy dies.
You might want to depress everybody.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
Too much. We want some more darkness.
We don't want people to think that Alito is a jerk anyways. So, according to the neighbors, the flag didn't go up after these insulting things. They say that Martha Ann Alito, on a stroll with her husband, used an expletive and called them fascists over the anti-Trump signs on their lawn. Another time, Mrs. Alito ran toward their car and yelled something they didn't understand before spitting at the vehicle.
Right.
The neighbors eventually called the police, and the police declined to intervene. But the point is that the timeline is inverted. So even if we are to believe this was strictly Martha Ann Alito's decision, we have found out that it's not a reaction to what was going on, but rather something that just happened to be almost concurrent.
This is from March 18th, 1993. Village president flies flag upside down to protest Clinton. The village president of the Milwaukee suburb of Thickensville is so distressed over the direction of the country. He has protested blah, blah, blah. Ray What's believes the United States is headed towards a socialist, Marxist, communist state. A little bit redundant there. But anyway, yeah, we know what that meant.
So to better understand the clash, the New York Times interviewed Ms. Bodden. She is a neighbor.
I love the NIMBY, like, passive-aggressive suburban fight here angle. It's funny in and of itself. Very American beauty.
It's very cute.
Homeowners Association.
Miss Badden, her mother and her husband, as well as other neighbors, reviewed the text that Miss Badden and her husband sent to friends after the episodes. Alito did not respond to questions for this article, has in recent weeks given his own explanation of what happened. There are some differences. For instance, the justice told Fox News that his wife hoisted the flag in response to Miss Bodden's vulgar insult. A text message and the police call corroborated by Fairfax County authorities indicate, however, that the name calling took place on February 15th, weeks after the inverted flag was taken down.
Imagine you're up against a Supreme Court justice and his wife, and they just can't get the timeline straight at all. And you're just checking them on every argument.
I mean,
So he lied about the timeline here.
Do you think he also maybe lied about who leaked the opinion to the Wall Street Journal or all that stuff about? Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, I do.
The stuff about the abortion case. This also addresses nothing, and I know they mentioned this in this Times piece about the other January 6th flag that was flying at their beach house.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. That is a complete. He hasn't addressed that.
That was a different fight with a different neighbor about lawns.
Yeah.
A different distress signal.
No, you've got that wrong. That was just like. Did you ever read Old Man and the Sea?
Oh.
That was his way of saying to the ocean, like, you're horrible. You're a cruel mistress, ocean.
He does
flag-based communication system.
Exactly.
He does have such like the saltiness that it would require.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah. You I think made this point to me. Maybe it was off air, but like the amount of frickin' just rancor. I mean, I don't know, anger towards the world, aggrievement that one has to possess to put up these two Stop the Steal January 6th related flags at each of your homes, but not just as like average MAGA dude in the country that loves Trump. Like there was somebody in my fiance's hometown who had 25 Trump signs on his lawn and we would drive past it all the time. Like, okay, that guy's nuts, right?
Yeah.
But he's trying to stick it to the neighbors.
Could do 45.
This guy is a Supreme Court justice. He's one of the 20 most powerful people in this country right now?
Yeah, but
one of the most powerful people in world history.
Exactly. I mean,
you have all this power. You don't need to do to demonstrate your political opinions, which you're not supposed to have, by the way, through these passive aggressive displays at your home. Like you can change the country. You are empowered. Stop acting aggrieved.
I mean, it is like, wait, who's that guy that Tim Pool talked about with the fist that I had the guy from the Marvel,
Thanos.
Thanos.
Yeah.
It's like Thanos, be like, I'm so mad that I'm going to put up all lives matter in my window. Like,
Thanos making his profile picture just a black
it's
picture.
like,
Yeah.
because that guy with the 50 Trump signs,
right?
He feels frustrated. Nobody hears me. I'm disempowered. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Alienated.
Alito, again, like you say, one of the most powerful human beings in the world, certainly within the country, and that's not enough. It's not enough that we can destroy the Voting Rights Act. It's not enough that we can pull back a 50-year individual right that has existed in this country. It is not enough that we can disempower the administrative state. It is not enough. I mean, we could just go on and on and on. I'm gonna really stick it to all these people who live next to me by putting up a flag.
Right.
It's just insane. It's insanity.
Yes.
But there it is.
And then there's the arrogance piece of like, I know what I'm risking here in terms of my perception of like being an impartial justice, and I don't really care because it's the untouchable piece, and it's the I'm gonna stick it to you. I'm gonna rub my neighbors' faces in it that they can't do anything about this, and like that just is, I mean,
he's literally like
menacing.
one of these bloggers from whatever it was, 2007, going like, I'm drinking liberal tears. That's what I drink every morning. I have a cup of liberal tears. It really is just the
should I bet that I'm getting a second tattoo? And if he has a liberal tears mug, if Alito it'll never get proven, but I want to put money on that one.
The real problem here is I encourage Alito to keep letting his freak flag fly, literally. But why is the Washington Post not telling us this when they know it?
That is a long-standing tradition, it seems to me. But also, I mean, to be fair, and part of the problem also is, with all due respect, the response of people in the legal institution, that is the front line in which that this type of behavior is going to have some type of consequences. And so if you are a professor, not naming any names, but if you're a professor at a law school and you see this, like at one point, you have to stop pretending that there is the artifice that may or may not have been there in the past. I don't even need to litigate that question. At one point, you have to stop. Like, you cannot be looking out the window, seeing water drip down from the sky, and say, like, well, it may be raining, or maybe it's not. Maybe it's a huge blimp that we can't see that is pouring buckets of water out. I mean, there's just no way to know. I can't get into the mind of the weather. Like, let's be clear here. This is not, this is, there are things, I just don't know how explicit it has to get until.
I think, we've talked about this before too, like just they're so invested in the fiction of it. And I think, there's probably a shift. Like, my sister just graduated law school, and her position on this and her classmates, it's not the same.
I'd be curious about the professors, because the classmates come and go.
I should ask her, actually.
I'd be curious about that. But I would imagine, again.
But that will influence the future.
Yes.
Yeah.
Part of this is a little bit generational. But also, it's much harder for the more skeptical ones to get into those positions of being the professors, because, the institution protects, they're protecting the church. But
that's how it's treated.
Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.